I feel like I'm just gonna make the titles the same every single time they screw me over because whether it's Moon getting blasted, basically was Harry Osborn, man. They really had me going there. I was like, okay, yep. As soon as I saw them standing in the rain, I thought she's dying, right? I was like, that's what's gonna happen. The motorcycle passes, it's raining. I was like, I knew something bullshit was gonna happen. He gets off the bike. I'm like, yep, she's dead for sure. And then when I realized that, no, they're actually gonna kill our boy because they think, Isol's there. Unfortunately for him, he was wearing the helmet. But I gotta admit, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. When our boy started, like, electrifying, like he was about to do some Flash level sprinting, at least that's what I thought. I was like, oh, wait, yeah. He's gonna live because he's gonna get there just in time. And then the last episode of this arc, because this arc is, the Isol arc is 3 episodes, right? And the bitch is just dead. They bait you thinking that she's gonna probably die. And then no, he dies. And I really thought this guy was gonna be a scumbag from the first episode, and boy, did he turn out to be the number one G. But this is why you don't share your identity to the public. I got full live reactions over on my Patreon, though. You want to see me break in real time to this greatness, support my work. It's over there exclusively. So I've had some people ask me, because I guess people can't Google. Here's the sheet. This is the episode. So you can see how many episodes each character will have. X has 1 episode. Yeah, so that's how it is. This is the official, like, I think it was the director who tweeted about it, whatever. It's the official list. Interestingly enough, though, the show's more engaging than I thought. So, as we know, or should know at this point, the show airs in reverse order. So, chronologically, Moon getting blasted is the end of the season. So, we're working our way down. So, the very last episode, X, is the technically last episode chronologically. We all caught up there? Apparently, there's more to it. So, this will be at least 2 seasons, seemingly, and based on fan popularity of different heroes and how things go, that will influence the direction of season 2, which, given how this show is all about the influence of the audience in terms of their own world, the fact that the influence of the audience watching it will also affect it is just such a cool idea, and just leads to, like, the Black Mirror feeling that this show has given me. And I'm loving that, because this entire episode is twisted as hell, even removing the death. Like, seriously think about this, right? You live in a society that, hey, here's Isol, the original, right? Remove the bullshit he seemingly is involved with in terms of blasting our boy. At least I assume anyway. He's this, like, big time hero, right? And the idea that he keeps his identity a secret, everything, it makes sense. And then a boy saves some kid who's getting jumped by kidnappers, and the people believe in him enough that they're like, hey, discount Isol. But then discount Isol is gaining more popularity than the original, and you essentially lose your identity because someone else did it better. Like, at face value, the idea of belief is a really interesting power system and could be very beneficial, because if the general public believes in heroes, the heroes can save the day. But as I've said in these videos, you could look at the My Hero Academia approach where people no longer believe in heroes, and that alone was enough to crush Hero Society, as seen by the final season. Imagine a world where not only that crushing sense of despair ruins morale, it also removes the power from people, which would happen. So the idea that someone is pissed off their identity's getting stolen, I mean, I get it. Like, it does. Like, even if you're not intentionally doing it, and you can make the argument, well, and as his, like, wannabe girlfriend is saying, like, well, this is what the people want. It doesn't make it better. You're screwing like, remove what seemingly Bad Isol's doing, which I assume Bad Isol is the one who pulls the trigger on Moon. My kind of assumption in theory is that this Isol, our boy, is going to be like the general public persona, and then fake Isol, who was the original Isol, is going to pull the trigger on Moon to try to frame him as a bad person so that, his popularity plummets, because that would make sense to me. Unless there's a third Isol. I've seen people theorize that too, but who the hell knows? Either way, by airing in reverse order, you get to see characters who you might not be too happy with in the first arc that we saw, but now seeing them here, it's such an interesting idea. And while it's not the very first show to ever air in reverse order and stuff like that, it is the first superhero story to do this in this exact way. And so much I want to be like, oh, this reminds me of this, but then I realize, no, this is truly a one-of-a-kind show. And the popularity for this series speaks for itself. And one thing I really have to praise, while episode 1 did see the influx of people saying, it looks like a PS1 cutscene because it's 3D. I don't like 3D. You know, the general comments. But hey, some people just don't like 3D. That's fine. I've seen people unironically say Arcane looks ugly. I disagree, but opinions. What's very nice, though, is that seemingly those people stopped watching after episode 1, which doesn't happen. There's a lot of hate watching in, like, the anime side of the community. So the fact that, you know, the Donwa stuff and everything, it just feels a little better. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not trying to play favoritism, but I've been around the block enough to notice that there's a lot less hate watching when it comes to this show, because if this was, say, Ufotable, right? This is a Ufotable anime. It's pure Japanese through and through. You know damn well we'd be seeing the same comments. Yeah, but if only it was 2D, right? I just have noticed that, and I really appreciate that there's not that consistent take, because the show looks great. And to be honest, if a majority of the anime I watched looked like this, I wouldn't be losing sleep. I have to keep it 100%. Either way, though, this arc is shaping up. To be honest, I don't expect every single arc to be a 9 or 10 out of 10. But currently, out of the 2 arcs, I think we have a 9 or 10 out of 10 back to back. It ain't looking good. I have been interested where they will go and how it will all link back up to X. And how X and whoever is X will then link up into a season 2, I guess. I do have a random ass theory, and I don't believe it's true. Mainly because we know Isol doesn't have an arm. But here's the thing, this world's very technologically advanced. It's not impossible to think you could have an arm that looks human skin-like. But there's something about the build of the shop owner that kind of gives me the build of the Isol. And I'm kind of waiting for the shoe to drop that Buddy's, boss friend is going to be Isol or something. I don't have a lot of faith in that theory, but it's been rubbing me the wrong way the past 2 episodes. That's all I'm saying. But just know, if you ever see the F2B hero, it probably broke my heart. Your thoughts down below, though. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new around, or of course ring that bell. Live reactions over on Patreon. And you know why you're over there, I'll give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Cherbo Cochris, Brian Mifsud, Waka866, Andy, Little Bandit, Slayer Droid X, Joseph, Attilia Farkas, 46, Andrew Thomas, and we also have no name needed, so I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Have a good one.